Okay, hello everyone. I thought I'd make a fun little video here and kind of showcase some ideas for creating some custom characters in kind of a somewhat rapid way, utilizing some of the free tools. So here I am inside of Mixamo. I did go to animations and search for the T-pose animation, what I applied to this guy right here. So you're going to want to do that one, and you can do it with any character loaded here, any of the defaults first. Once I've done that, then I can go through and look at other characters. If it didn't keep the T-pose, then we might have to pick it again. Use this character, come on. Or just mess up and need to be refreshed, I guess. Okay. All right, anyway, I don't know what happened to the website, so let's just refresh it here. So you can see, of course, Mixamo has all these pre-made characters underneath characters. But they're used, they're kind of overdone. You see them, they're not custom, they don't feel new, unique, etc. But what we can do is this. So I'm going to pick a character that I like the general look of, but I wished it was more unique or specific to our project. That thing's weird. Now, for this, I'm not going to edit the model at all. So keep that in mind. If I wanted to edit this model, I would need to go a little bit further and do a little bit more. But this is just going to be like, okay, well, here I have this fun model. He looks pretty good. Maybe I like his overall look. I'm going to download the model in the T-pose. Okay. Once he's downloaded, I'm just going to simply import the FBX that it downloaded into 3ds Max. And again, this could be any program, Blender, whatever. So if you like something else better, that's fine. Okay. I think dryer, I don't know, is this it? I should have paid attention to what the name was. So this might be the wrong thing, I don't know. I think it's him. All right, yeah. So you can see here, I brought in that character. There he is. Now, this video isn't about the animations or auto rigging or any of that stuff. It's just going to be this process. So I'm going to select it. Again, I'm going to use the little eyedropper, click on the character. It's going to load the character's texture in here. I'm going to hit M, and you can see here is the texture. In fact, when I imported this into Max, it already created a folder called dryer.your.fbm, and inside that folder are the textures. So as soon as you open in something, it's going to kind of unpack this folder with the textures in it. So you technically don't need to do the select with the eyedropper thing once you unpack that FBX. So keep that in mind. But now that it's kind of, I've selected, I know where it is. Again, in this way I can view it and show where it is and all that fun stuff. But now I can simply go back. I'm going to go to like Photopea. You can see there was a different one. Open from computer. Go to, again, my downloads. And where, again, it's going to make that new folder right here, FBM. And click diffuse and hit open. Now you could do this with any of the textures. If you wanted to do the normal or specular maps, you probably need to edit the specular map. You start making a lot of changes here, but you can see now I have this character in here. So we can start modifying the texture of it and kind of play around with the look. So let's see. What do we got here? Again, I don't use Photopea a ton. But we'll do a gradient overlay. That's not ideal. I guess that's not what I want. In Photoshop, you can do the kind of the effect, the adjustment layer. Let's see, do we have a gradient map? Yeah, gradient map. That's what I'm looking for. And let's pick colors. To whatever we want. And again, I mean, I could obviously spend a little more time on this if we wanted it to look a little bit better, but you can see here the gradient map's kind of a fun one though, because you can get some cool, really quick changes to the overall model. Now here I'm getting this weird like pattern on the pants. I don't really want that. And maybe I don't want this. Maybe we'll go with brown because we're going for a medieval fantasy look. So I want brown trousers, and this thing's not looking quite right either. I want it to be, I think, metal, just regular old, you know, Knight of the Round Table style metal. Now it could be tricky. It looks like here the overlap between them is a little too close. So I don't know. I might have to kind of play with that till we get what we want. Okay. That's not bad. Again, I got all the brown looking good. It does not look great for armor, so maybe I can come back in here and try again, or even just start painting it in. So maybe we go like create a new thing. Again, for the video, I probably shouldn't spend forever doing all the fun artistic stuff, but even here, I'm just going to make a nice brush. We'll change our, yeah, I got gray selected. Let me just paint it in here. Again, I'm gonna paint in that armor. Sorry, I'm getting kind of laggy here. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I'm kind of just painting it in. Now, the longer I spend on this and the more time, the better it'll look, right? So keep that in mind. But I don't want to make this video too long. Again, I don't really love that weird metal spine thing it's got going on. Again, here's kind of an armory piece. Here's an armor piece. Now, I'm really going quick, so bear that in mind. You spend a little more time with this, it's going to look better. All right, but I kind of want to show you how you do it when you're not spending a lot of time with it, so you can see that you can do some pretty cool stuff kind of quick. All right, so I've just selected kind of all of that. Here I could play around with, you know, hue. And now I have kind of this new version where all the armor is at least gray and the pants are brown, and they look pretty good. Again, maybe that one I could worry about later. You could go a step further, of course, and I could play with this even more. The one thing I'm not doing is actually editing the look. So I could literally go in here and remove whatever this nonsense is. Again, if I were in Photoshop, it's really easy. In here, Photopea, it's not bad, but oh, here, sorry, I need to do all layers. Copy, merged, edit, paste. Okay. Allow, weird. All right, so there's a new layer with all the stuff on it, so again, the more time I spend on this, the better, but I'm trying to be quick. And I'm just literally letting it fill in whatever it wants with whatever it wants. It looks like maybe my computer doesn't want it. Okay, so we're going to say that's good enough. Again, that's weird, but it's fine. And I would say the only thing I could change is face, because it's kind of strange, but we'll leave it. Let me go ahead and export. For this, I'm going to leave it as a PNG. I don't care. But I could definitely change it up to a Photoshop file if I wanted to. So again, we'll go downloads, boom. And where are we at? Oh, this guy right here. So we could put this into this folder. looks like maybe it has a different name. Oh, sorry, he's actually in the wrong, that's a wrong folder. Put it in the right folder could help. So Control X, put it in this folder, and replace. I just did replace because you can see here in 3ds Max, it will auto update, and now I have that new model. Now here at the back looks really weird because I spent 0 time on it. The model's still looking for that circle, so there's a little bit of the geometry itself that's looking for that circle, so I might want to put that circle back because it looks really strange right now. But you can see we can really change the look of this quite a bit just by swapping out that texture. Again, I'm not having to kind of reinvent it. And I could go even further, right? So literally coming in here and removing the details, making it look more like a medieval fantasy kind of outfit and medieval fantasy armor, and I would have even more, have an even more unique look. So that's kind of what I just wanted to show you, is that any of these characters you could do this to, right? So, the longer you spend in the Photoshop or Photopea or something, the better it's going to look. So keep that in mind. But this character is pretty close to medieval fantasy. Again, I think the circle thing back here is kind of, the weird tire tread pattern is not so great, but this circle thing is in the geometry itself. So if I didn't want to edit the geometry, which kind of is the point, I would want to put that back because it looks very strange with it missing right now. So there might be where I took it a little far. Again, I might put the spine back, although I do not love the spine. I wouldn't mind if it were bone colored and I get rid of the sides maybe. But you can kind of see. The point is, though, is that we can edit the texture of a model that we download and create a very different looking, character and style. So if we're wanting to work off any of those Mixamo models, we can kind of springboard off of them just by editing the texture to make something unique and different. And I've been working on a lot of games, and it's sometimes shocking how much detail can be in the diffuse, like in the coloring. So, you can change this guy from looking like some sort of sci-fi warrior to, a completely looking medieval fantasy style by editing those materials and textures. Again, like this character here, obviously I couldn't change the model, right? But replacing the materials and the different elements, you could significantly change the look of this. And you could even go a step further. Like this, the other thing for this guy, for example, I could edit the model, right? We could delete different elements and stuff off of him and keep what's underneath. So like if we didn't like this weird cowl or this thing he's wearing here, Mixamo doesn't do a very good job with this kind of skirt shape. This character's already been rigged, and from what I remember from reading years ago, is some of these characters were all fine-tuned and modified by hand to make up for those kind of odd elements. So again, you could always take this a step further, and there's some more tricks along these lines you could use with these characters too. If people are interested, we can kind of explore them and do a little more kit bashing. All right, hopefully this was helpful though.